Okay, and we're underway. Welcome everybody to Westslope Startup Week. This is an all month long, all of July, Tuesdays and Thursdays. I already see some familiar faces here. Welcome back. You are in the people track. This session is the importance of creativity and innovation in business with Andrea Palm Porter. She is a leadership coach, consultant, trainer, facilitator, and executive director of Roaring Fork Leadership. I'll bring that website up here as I introduce it. And so we're very proud to have her. And like all sessions, these are volunteer driven. So we appreciate Andrea for sharing her time. I want to point out a few things about Westslope Startup Week as we get underway. There's some incredible mentor sessions. So if you go to your scheduler, you'll find those on Thursday here. And we have, 30 plus mentors from Energize Colorado, just a tremendous number of sessions, an opportunity for you to connect with area entrepreneurs, business leaders, mentors. They're segmented by their area of expertise. I highly recommend going and getting some time with them using your scheduler here. So with that, I want to first thank US Bank. They're our platinum sponsor for Westslope Startup Week, and then all of our track sponsors you can see here. Without them, this is difficult to pull off for free to everybody. It's a huge volunteer effort, and I just want to thank you for being a part of this. I will be viewing the chat box as we throughout this session, so feel free to leave questions. I'll relay those to Andrea. But also just jump in and make yourself heard. We'll be doing some breakout rooms. So hope you're ready. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Andrea now.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Spencer, for that introduction. Yeah, so I guess I'm a leadership junkie. I kind of calculated it that I finally hit the 30-year mark that I've been kind of after this leadership. I got introduced to it in college. There was actually a leadership institute at the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire, and I was hooked. But back in my day, we didn't have leadership degrees when I was going through the university, and I'm really excited that I guess I just outside of doing my own seminars, leadership programs, being involved as a participant in programs, many of them over the years, and becoming certified in emotional intelligence and DISC assessments, and I mean, it's a plethora. It's kind of a big list, and taking coaching programs so that I could be certified in different modalities of coaching. So really excited to bring a conversation about like the concepts of creativity and innovation today, even more than ever. I don't know if you all are being challenged today amongst decision making, coming up with the next move. Like one of the mottos in Roaring Fork Leadership that we talk about, it's like we're just living in a reality of trying to create some certainty in a world of uncertainty. And then like instead of taking these huge bites of like, what is this going to look like in a year? It's like, who knows, right? Let's talk about what it's going to look like next week, and to shift that thinking, right, has been a challenge, right? Because we know how to do it, planning out further in advance, but we're, some of our types of styles, that drives us crazy to be flexible all the time, constantly changing plans, right? It can be very telling, both on our brain capacity and our emotional intelligence, right? We probably find ourselves getting triggered more often, upset, frustrated, even levels of depression, right? We're seeing a lot of statistics on individuals' well-being. So I look at, being creative and innovative takes an aspect of optimism, right? Like future looking, what are possibilities? There's a great book out there called Factfulness, if anybody's picked it up, and it talks about in the world of, let's say, a continuum of optimism, and on the other end of it is pessimism. What if that didn't exist, and the one word that encompassed everything that we would all label ourselves would be, we're all possibilists. Like, how cool to take away, that continuum of different labels, and it's just like we're all human, right? As we look at the diversity discussions and challenges that we're seeing in our communities that are, moving us apart, instead of how can we create languaging and do things that bring us together. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I've prepped a few slides for us all that I think would be helpful. And let me make sure I get the right one going. It seems to have disappeared. Give me one moment here. See where it went.
And while Andrea is setting up her screen, I'm going to answer two questions. So the first is about the recordings for these sessions. Those can be found on the West Slope Startup Week website under the scheduler for each session. They'll be posted within 2 days. And I went ahead and left a link in this chat that goes direct to this session.
Great.
The other is that Andrea mentioned a book, Factfulness. So I went ahead and put that link in the chat as well.
Awesome. Thank you for doing that. So hopefully, can you all see my screen? Looks like it's working on my end. Perfect. Thank you. So we all can kind of understand that it's important, you know, and the session description, if you read it online, probably hopefully that's what drew you to be here today. But a couple distinctions I want to make about the definition of what innovation and creativity is, but I also think that there's a whole bunch of different ways of approaching it or creating these labels for ourselves that we actually can all do this, right? So entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs, I mean, just maybe raise your hand in the screen if your video is on, or if you have the reactions, you can raise your hand in the screen. Does anybody know the difference or have heard of the word entrepreneur? Yep. I got a couple of head shakes that I can see and a couple of yeses. So I'll just kind of go with maybe there's a 50-50 in the group, gauging that. But, you know, there's different behaviors that come with each one of those, either being an entrepreneur or an entrepreneur or an entrepreneur. So, but at the end of the day, they both have innovation and creativity together. So what makes the difference? Oh, sorry. And then of course, so I'm going to make that distinction between entrepreneur. We're going to look at the little bit of a difference between creativity, innovation. We're going to do a little creativity exercise ourselves today. So we're going to put hopefully our brains in a fun place, and also just understanding the importance, and at the end of the day, trying to figure out a little bit of a path of how you can do more of it, like what behaviors you can actually take away from this 1 hour that we get together and say, I'm going to start doing more of that, or I'm going to start doing that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do a quick, so here I'm going to do a breakout room. These are really quick. I'm going to pair you up. I'm not sure if we have a total of even numbers, but it'll be either 2 or 3 of you in a group. And I want you to answer these 2 questions. And it's, again, a total of 4 minutes. So you guys can split up that time. Again, if it's pairs, you each get 2 minutes. If there's 3 of you, you can shorten that up just slightly. But what does creativity and innovation mean to you? Like maybe how do you demonstrate it? What behaviors do you do that would be creative or innovative? And then how would being more creative and innovative help you be more successful? So those are the 2 questions. I think they're fairly simple to remember, but as I take you into your breakout room. So I'm going to stop my screen share so I can go ahead and move you into those rooms. So again, the question is, how does creativity and innovation, what does that mean to you? I'm sure there's some few different interpretations, like how do you actually demonstrate that in your lives today? And then the other half of it was, what could you do to be more success, right? By being creative and innovative, would that create more success for you? So here we go into breakout rooms. I'm gonna, looks like we got 2 people in the room, 7 participants. Let's see here. Sorry, I've got things set up here from a meeting I was in yesterday. I'm gonna set this up for 4 minutes. And here we go. Enjoy the conversation.
Right.
Where I would go. What's the problem you're trying to solve for? And